January 26, 1788. As the first fleet dropped anchor in Botany Bay, the southern sun blazed over a land untouched by European eyes. To the officers and convicts who staggered ashore, it was paradise and punishment bound in one. The colony they would build was meant to be moral, a new start for sinners. But behind every law, behind every sermon, human desire began to whisper. The convicts were mostly men, 80%, rough, young, desperate. Months at sea, years in chains. Their world was hunger, loneliness, and isolation. Within weeks, the first moral order of the colony collapsed. Commanders tried to enforce British virtue, but in the huts, the tents, and the darkness of the eucalyptus forests, something else took root. Governor Phillip's reports spoke of irregular attachments, but the records he didn't send to London tell a deeper story. Women traded like currency, secret relationships between officers and servants, and unnatural acts punished one day and ignored the next. The colony's women, vastly outnumbered, became both powerful and powerless. Some used beauty as survival, others used deception. Convict women were assigned to men as wives, often against their will, their names recorded in ledgers like property transfers. But even in this harshness, strange forms of affection appeared. In letters smuggled between prisons, men wrote to men with tenderness that defied their time. Historians now call it the love of the forgotten. 1832, Hobart Town. Inside the cold stone of the Cascades Female Factory, hundreds of women lived under what was called moral reform. They were locked away for licentious conduct, a Victorian code for anything society feared: passion, rebellion, or love beyond the rules. Rumors spread of a matron who ran her ward like a kingdom of secrets. She was said to choose her favorites, a few convicts whose loyalty she purchased with food, blankets, and forbidden comfort. When an inspector arrived unannounced one winter morning, he found a hidden room behind the laundry, warm, perfumed, and occupied. The report vanished. So did the matron.
1851 brought gold, and with it, chaos. Tens of thousands of men flooded Victoria's gold fields, their tents shining in the sun by day and burning with debauchery by night. Gambling dens, sly grog shops, and canvas brothels appeared overnight. Missionaries called the fields a valley of sin. But the strangest tales came from Chinese miners' camps, where British officials whispered about rituals, opium dreams, and secret societies of pleasure and pain. Some stories were lies, some weren't. By the 1880s, Australia wanted to be respectable. The colonies built churches, schools, and laws to wash away their criminal past. But repression only drove the old instincts underground. Moral purity leagues hunted what they called indecency. Yet in their private diaries, the same reformers confessed the very sins they condemned. Police files from Melbourne in 1889 reveal night raids on disorderly houses. Among those arrested were not criminals, but politicians, judges, even priests. The newspapers reported nothing. The files were sealed. Still are. As the century turned and Federation approached, a strange amnesia set in. Australia wanted to forget its darkness, the convicts, the scandals, the human hunger that had built its cities. Official histories painted the colonies as heroic. But in forgotten archives and letters, the truth still breathes. Stories of loneliness, survival, hypocrisy, and desire beneath the empire's watchful eye. These were not tales of monsters, but of people denied love, freedom, and honesty. And sometimes, the forbidden reveals more about society than its laws ever could. Today, the sandstone walls of Sydney's early prisons stand as museums. Visitors see the tools, the chains, the old ledgers. But the real secrets, the ones whispered behind locked doors under the roar of colonial morality, remain untold. Because history loves its heroes clean. But truth remembers everyone.